This conference will now be recorded.
All right, guys, let's start this meeting. There's lots to talk about. We'll start with, looking at composite, see what's going on. Let me just hide this. Good. Okay. No, wait, let's push it. Okay. So looking at the composite, right? If you take a look at this, we are back about 21 moving average on the weeklies, and it's one of the strong sectors compared to other indices. And we're almost heading towards the Feb 24th gap, I would say, before the gap down, right, which is 93.22. Okay, and composite is one of the strongest. Whether you look at NASDAQ composite, NASDAQ is even more better. It's further higher than, it's almost entering the gap fill. It's above the gap fill, sorry. So the lows here on the Feb 26th highs and Feb 17 lows is 9406. Okay. When you compare this with SPX, it's a laggard, right? It's way below 50 MA and way below 21 MA. Okay. So the next spot in SPX is what I'm looking at is 3004. And if you do the same comparison across with Russell, Russell is even more one of the weakest among the indices. Okay, it's not even close to the 21 MA. It's not even also into the. It's below the gap of March 9th as well. So Russell likely should see 1396. Possibly, if Russell gets going, we can probably see 1440, 1470, right? But these will take time to prove. Okay, so that's what I had. NASDAQ and everything is way up. One of the other sector ETFs if I look at is Semiconductor. That's one of the strongest as well, along with NASDAQ, and it's about 21 moving average. So it's forming a big wedge. So likelihood we would head towards this 141, and if we continue to hold, we can go fill the gap at 145. Okay. So this is what I'm looking at in terms of the indices. If you look at the, what do you say, compare that to IWM for the Russell, which is the weakest, looks like the potential for it to go to 136.85 into the gap fill, which has potential up to 141. Okay. If you look at the SPY, which is the ETF, let's remove this. If you look at this, it's heading towards the resistance of 299 and 299.300. So this will be a strong resistance because there's a dual resistance from 21 moving average and 50 moving average, and also it's also a trend line resistance which coincides with this. It coincides with this. Okay, so I'm thinking that we should head SPY and SPX 3000 this week. It's monthly OPEX, so and NASDAQ will continue to go higher, right? So that should help drag SPX up. If that happens, one of the most important to me is Russell. Russell needs to move, and Russell looks pretty good on Friday close. If you take a look at the daily, there was a Doji on Thursday and it closed way up. Sorry, that's Apple. My bad. If you take a look so it closed really good on Friday. Okay, so it has potential to go up. So I'm thinking that this week, even though it's monthly OPEX, we should head higher. Okay, let's move to next. Let's talk about the real-time indicators that I use. Okay, UVXY. Let me change this to red. Okay, UVXY. So if you take a look at UVXY, which is a pretty good indicator to me, Let me just show you what I'm looking at the weekly. It's forming a falling wedge on the, it's forming a flag pattern, which is bullish to me. Okay. So, but I still think that UVXY would head to 32 and tag the 50 MA, which is 2850. And this is a bearish engulfing pattern. If you look at the weekly, okay, this is a bearish engulfing pattern. But the only concern I have is the volume is lesser compared to previous week. So hopefully we should see the price push to 32 and probably 2850. So this also confirms that this is heading lower, possibly to 50 MA and 50 MA and 21 MA, and that should help push the indices up. Okay, so look at the VIX, which is the fear index. It's already broke the 21 MA. All right, so this is the UVXY is a laggard compared to VIX, right? So the fear index already broke. Looks potential for move towards 22, 21, which is this support area. This is a strong support area. Okay, this is a strong support area. So likelihood we should see that unless we get over 31 next week, but otherwise we head towards that. So this would confirm in conjunction with the indices, the overall market to go up. Okay, so it's a pretty good indicators. Okay, use the same thing with VXX, which is also telling you that it's heading towards 2840, 2850, or 25 if needed. If we push further, and if SPX breaks 3000, 3027, we should hit this spot. Okay, let's see fear index. Okay, the fear and greed index, if you look at it, it's neutral at this stage. There is no more, not enough fear and not enough bullish sentiment outside. So likelihood we should get into above 50, probably like 60, 65, 70 if needed. That's what I'm looking at. Once everyone turns bullish, I think that's when you'll start seeing the rock pull. We'll start seeing, we'll pull back and everything. If you look at the other one, I look at it is CBOE equity put call ratio. If you look at this, the equity put call ratio has room towards 0.45 and 0.43. Okay, so we still have a lot of room to move towards 0.45. We are right now at 0.53. So that means the put call ratio is not that extreme. It is extreme, but not that extreme. Okay, so the push towards market making like Nasdaq filling the gap or composite heading towards the starting of the gap, or Russell moving towards 21 MA or 50 MA if needed, right? And UVXY and VIX confirming on moving down, we can see this head towards that. And this will be a bounce area. So when we are looking at a bounce or market pullback, we want to make sure that your CBOE options equity put call heads towards 0.4, 0.43, and your fear greed gets towards 65, 60, 65, 70. So those are the indicators that we'll look at. Another market sentiment, this is AAI, which is a contrarian indicator that I use. If you look at this, the market is very bearish, right? The sentiment across is really bearish, right? The underlying economy has just been, held higher because of Fed's stimulus and ingestion of money into the market. So to me, the base is still weak. The foundation is still weak because a lot of businesses are not doing good. Service industry is down. There's more than 30 million unemployment rate. So this basically just tells you that the contrarian indicator, like everyone is bearish in the market. And that's the reason I think, people are taken by surprise. And that's why you're seeing this big push higher in Russell, in NASDAQ, in composite. That's the reason you're seeing this big push higher. Okay. And yeah, I think once this 52% of bearish turns towards, a little bit of bullish sentiment, then it will be better. We want this bearish sentiment of 52.7% go below 50%. That's when, we want to be a little cautious because there's a potential of seeing the market pull back. Another way of showing you the AI bull bear spread, okay? This is another indicator that I use. If you look at 2019 October, right, we hit minus 23.65%. As of today, as of last week, this chart is updated every week. So the next update is May 14th. On May 7th, if you see, it's minus 29%. So we are below 2019 October when the market was, at the lows before the big run up happened. Okay. And before that, 2018, sorry, what is that? This one. December 2018 was 22.43%. Okay. So this tells me that, there's a potential we are going to see this 2018 lows, or if needed, even we're already below, if needed, we'll go to 2016 lows. Okay. But likelihood we should see the 2018 lows, which is minus 22.43. And that's when this will confirm with, looking at CPCE or looking at the fear and greed index, looking at your, UVXY, all of those will help you confirm that, the market is ready for a pullback. Okay. All right. So this basically tells you about, let's not have any biased opinions. Let's not just short the market just because, you think it's gone up too high. Focus on, confirmation, focus on what the real-time indicators and other indicators are showing you. If you want to short the market, then short individual stocks that are weak and not bouncing as much in the strong bounce, okay, in the market. But otherwise, stay with the trend. Don't be biased. And, let's wait for confirmation before you actually jump into, buying puts and everything. So a lot of people have missed this rally. A lot of folks have actually been shorting it. And, if you remember, I talked about buying a 1 year out SPY puts. And I've not even posted that, the SPY put buy. Okay. So I'm still waiting for a confirmation before I actually buy those. And the SPY puts I was looking at, let me just give you an example. If I would have bought this way early, then we would have been in trouble. Okay. So let me just show you. I was looking at not December 22nd, Jan. Okay. So I was looking at Jan 22nd, and I was looking at, I'll tell you what, 200 puts. It's right now at $11. Okay. When SPY was at 280 or 277, I was looking at these. When SPY was at, let me just show you, when SPY was around below 200 MA here, around 262 or 262 or 250, the SPY puts I was looking at was 170, 180. Okay. Now let's just give you an example. The 170 around that time was trading at around $12 or something. Okay. March 30th, $12. Look at it today. It's at $7. Okay. So 170, which is a year down the line. So I'm still waiting for confirmation. Once I see the confirmation, I will post the trade alert on SPY puts and, we'll bank on it. All right. One other thing I want to talk about was, even if you look at I understand the market sentiments, everyone has been bearish and it's most logical thing to do. But if you look at even Carl Icahn, Warren Buffett, they are not buying this market, right? Buffett announced about he's more cash and he's out of his airline stocks and everything. If you look at we are waiting for results on COVID-19. Once the business opens in next few weeks this summer, we'll see how, if we have any drug, if there's any treatment going on, if it helps on whether we are controlling the spread of the virus or we are having more deaths. So those things are going to play key role. Until we see those kind of bad news, once the businesses are open, which is I think from this week, at least in California and other states, give another month or so, and you'll start seeing, how things are going. Okay. Another thing I want to add is this week is a monthly OPEX, so expect the market to run up. I'm expecting the market to run up. So I'm kind of bullish this week. I know due to monthly OPEX, we will see some pinning action, but once if SPY hits 298.300, maybe around that time we can start pinning it, unless it decides to break this 300 spot or 302, this one, which is going to be tough because this was the spot in July of last year where it started breaking down. Okay. All right. So I talked about layoffs, deeper recession, etc. So let's talk about, let's talk about our watch list. So I talked about SPY, I talked about SPX, I talked about UVXY, talked about Russell, IWM, WIX. Let's look into Tesla. So looking into Tesla, I'm bullish on Tesla. I see there was a news on the weekend, Elon Musk selling his properties and trying to get out of California. Although I think the Alameda County should do something about it. I'm pretty sure they're going to, not ruin this, and they'll keep Tesla in California. All right, so to me, this is bullish. It's inside week. This one, if you look at it, previous week was a big red long tail on April 27 week. Last week, we had an inside week. So any break above 870, right, will be over this as well, 863, which is a big red bar on Feb 24th. Which was actually when the market started breaking down, remember? So any break about 869, 870, we are heading towards all-time highs. And any break below 675, any break below 675, we are heading towards, 600s. So I'm bullish on Tesla, but I think, we're at least heading towards testing these 863, 869, 863, 870, and we'll see if it breaks that or not. Okay. Netflix. So Netflix, I'm still bullish on Netflix. The weekly tells me that, we had a last week, previous week, which was April 27th week, which was long tail followed by a confirmation on upside. The only concern was lack of volume. So if we gap above 441, 442, the day we gap above 441 or 442, we are heading towards 450 and above. Okay. So looking at daily, if you look on the left side, the daily chart, William percentage R is overbought. So we should see some pullback towards 429. And if we don't hold that, we'll see 421, 423, which is a strong support. Okay. So I'm expecting a pullback. Maybe we see it initial, few days of the week, but otherwise, this has potential to move higher. Okay, so this is a long-term support. So I'm expecting if we have a pullback, we should hold the 429 area and bounce off it. If we fail that, then 421 comes, 423 comes. So Netflix, if you're in May calls, then I would suggest they roll up to June or buy more time. That's what I would look into. Moving on to next. Guys, please mute the microphone. Work. So we patiently waited for work for weeks. We've been holding for last 3 weeks. And this was the last week when it broke out. So 1, 2, and 3. Last week was a prime example. We got a nice Doji candle okay, on April 27th, and the volume was only 57 million. Previous week, if you notice, it was down on 78 million. Before that, it was 88 million. Guys, please mute the microphone. Okay, so now work broke out of this, pattern of inverse head and shoulders, and also with broke out on volume, which is 66 million. So it looks bullish to me. We are heading higher on work, but William percentage R is overbought, so expect some back test of 30.5, 30, or even 28.5 needed. Okay, but this is heading higher to, if we hold like 28, 50, $29, or 30.5 is the key. If we hold 30, 30.5, this is heading back to 32, 50, 34, and up to 38 and 42. Okay, so work is bullish. Amazon. I'm bullish into Amazon this week. It's pretty strong. Amazon to me. Look at the weekly, okay? All it did is, if you take a look at this long candle move on one of the weeks, all it did was it came down to 50% retracement, okay, of this candle bar. Just it came to 50% and it bounced off it, okay, which also coincided with 2249, 2250, which was the 423.6 fib resistance, okay. So this is really bullish setup right now. We broke out about 2362. So we hold 2335, 2330, and anything above 2387, we head towards 2396 gap fill. Okay. This is the gap I'm talking about. This is the gap. So once we fill that, we head towards 2428, 2444, and 2475. So Amazon, I'm bullish. So keep that in mind. I'll be looking for some plays. I'll talk about those plays. CMG. We talked about CMG last week. I kept saying that 9, 10, 9, 15 breaks, it starts moving higher. If you look at the CMG charts, it's broke out of this pennant on the weekly, broke out of the pennant on the daily. Okay, so CMG is heading, it's about this big red bar, which is 900. It tested for a couple of weeks and it broke last week. So this is heading to 940. Once it clears 940, it has moved towards 1060, 1075. Okay, so 940 clears, we are heading towards 1000 and then 1050, 1060, 1060, 1075. So I'm bullish on CMG. Last week and was not enough volume, so hopefully we see some volume this week. Beyond Meat, one of the good stocks that we actually traded and it did really good on it. We had multiple strikes. We had 125 initially, and then we rolled down to 120 before the earnings, and then we wrote that up, and then we bought 130 calls. Okay, so previous week before the earnings before week was 45 million, and then it confirmed on earnings with twice the volume, 100 million. Okay, which is, if you think of it, it's 2 times the volume of last 2 weeks. Okay, because before that it was 56 and 45, so it's like 101 something. So it's pretty much almost double. So 135, 136. This is a key spot which is broke down on Jan 20, Jan 13, and it went down to 60, 48, and this time it came there around again. So expect a test of 120 or if 129 fails. But if 136 gets taken out early in the week, like say Monday or Tuesday, then we were heading towards 145 and 151. Okay, but if it doesn't take out 136 by Monday, Tuesday, then expect a move towards 129 and 120. Okay, so that's how I would play Beyond Meat. Okay, let's go to Piton. So moving on to Piton, I posted the Watchlist trigger sheet on last week. It was 2 times weekly high breakout. Both were long tail and doji. Last week it broke out on volume. We didn't create anything, but that's why I post my Watchlist trigger sheet, so you guys can, trade or scalp or day trade it, right? We can't be in all the trades. So we have to be selective and nail them big. Okay. So it broke on heavy volume, 128 million compared to last 2 weeks, which was 28 million and 50 million. Okay. So Python is really bullish, but this is not the spot I would go long. Expect a pullback towards, 40.8. If we break this, then there is a gap fill at 39.26. 39 is 26, and this is like pretty much 38, 39 is a good long play. Okay, so this spot is a good long play, 38, 39. So watch for 40.8. If it holds, you can scale in. If it breaks that, it comes to 38, 39, it holds on a daily close, you can add to it and you can write it up. So this has a move towards $50. I think I have no, I don't have. So let's see. I know this has a move towards $50. Let's see this. Okay. So we can see a pullback on Monday or Tuesday. So let's see. Yeah. So this has moved towards $52. Okay. So if you don't want to buy options, buy stocks. If you're buying options, then buy June or July expiration. So you can add on dips at 38. You can add on dips at 34. Those are the spots you can add. Okay. So I'm bullish on Python. They had a pretty good earnings, right? So yeah. So there's a possibility we'll see an inside week on Python. Okay. I'll talk about other stocks as well. So let's look at now. That's one of the other one I'm looking at. Weekly broke out, pretty strong stock. Broke out of this pennant. Okay. So now it broke out of this, but it never back tested this 363 area. Okay. So there's a possibility that now if it takes out 387 early in the week, say Monday or Tuesday, then it's heading to 400 before any pullback. But if it fails at 387, it's a good short play towards 363. Okay. And once it gets to 363, that's basically back testing the previous highs. And this is where I would add long. I'll be going long. So keep an eye on this. It's 2 long weeks of good volume breakout. We might, if we break 388 early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, it's heading to 400. If we fail here, then this is heading to 363. Okay. Next, Nvidia. This is one of, we have a play in this. We got in around 300. It's heading towards 316. It's a good play. We're already not up by much. All right, so Nvidia is going towards 316, which is previous highs. And the earnings is on 21st, I think. Yeah, May 21st. Okay. So this breaks, it has room to 400. Okay. But I have an intermediate fibs, which tells me that we head towards, 336 or 340. So watch for Nvidia. You're going to hold this. This is a strong breakout. Look at this bullish engulfing pattern with volume, less volume. So previous week 50 million and last week 43 million. So 316 is coming. That's the spot we'll take our profits because this is heavy volume, 72 million. So there's a possibility that it stalls here and sideways chops or slight pullback until the earnings week. And then on May 21st, before the earnings or after earnings, it rips and goes towards 336, 341. So watch Nvidia. It's one of the strongest semiconductor stock. When you look at Lam Research, it's below 21 MA. Look at Nvidia, way above 21 MA. Okay, way above. Look at what else? Avago. One of the weak. All these are weak stocks, right? In that particular sector. Look at this, below 21 MA, the yellow line. Okay, so look at KLAC. It's one of the second strongest stock in semiconductor. It's about 21 MA, and it had a great earnings last week, and it with volume breakout. So KLAC is one other one I'm watching, 176, or even better is 180. 180 breaks. Let's put a alert. 180 breaks, all-time highs, and 200, right? So 180 breaks, we see 185, and then we head to 200. So keep an eye on KLAC. This is also one of the strongest. Look at Intel. Intel is also one of the strongest among in this semiconductor, in semiconductor industry. It's about 21 MA, just about. Okay, so these are the ones that are pretty strong. So if I'm trading semiconductor, then these are the ones I'm looking at. So it is at an inflection point. If we break above 60.5, it has room towards 62, 63, and then gap fill 64. Okay, so trade the strong stocks in that particular sector. Don't trade the weak stocks. Okay. All right. Sorry, I had to deviate that, but all right. Let's move to TDOC. I'm bullish on TDOC. I like the setup here. Look at the daily. Daily tells me it's a flag. The previous flag broke out. Okay, it broke out here. It went high to hit 200. Came back, pulled back to the breakout spot, and then couldn't hold. Doji and gap down on news on April 30th, and then it rose back up. Okay, it was gap down. Basically, it was the earnings. Okay, so it was gap down, then it slowly sideways moved higher, and now it's formed another flag, and it's holding this. Okay, so it's holding the previous support here, which is 168, and it's formed a nice bullish pattern here. So any close above 181, right? 181, 182, this is heading towards 195, 195, 200. So I'm bullish on TDOC. So TDOC is one of the other stocks that I'm really bullish. I think I mentioned about TDOC and now, okay. All right. Moving on to the next one is Arista Network, which is ANET. So you guys were all, we took a trade. We were expecting a move early, but it didn't happen. And then it closed really strong on Friday. Okay. So this is the reason why it was holding on to 200 MA. The 10 MA was green line, which is rising up. The 21 MA is flat. This is a very strong setup. Okay. There's a strong pattern here. It's hold sideways for 5 weeks. Sideways consolidation for 5 weeks after breaking out on March 30th March, about 200, it held at 200 MA. To me, this is very strong. Anything about 221, 225, 221, it runs towards 225. About 225, we have 228.76 and then 232. 232 is a gap, which is here. This is the gap I'm talking about. So to me, it looks like we are going to head towards this gap. So let's see. Just trying to show you. This is the gap, okay, which is Feb 13, gap down on Feb 14, okay. So we are heading towards this 232.4 likelihood, right? If this 229 breaks, which is another important spot before, it started rolling over, okay. This was when the market rolled over. So 229 is a likely spot this week. So keep an eye on this. We break 221, 224, we head towards 229. So our 220 calls should be $10, $9 to $10. Okay, but be patient. Don't look at intraday charts. Look at the daily close. Look at the 4-hour chart. That's important. Okay, don't panic. Have a plan and go with it. Next one, another one I'm bullish at, Regeneron. I love this setup. Look at this daily setup. It held this support. Now it formed a pennant here, and it's a long tail and a doji. Okay, so any close above 570. If we get 570, gap up, or on Monday we close at 570. This is heading towards 581 and 613. This is where I'm looking at. Okay, so because it's a monthly OPEX, likelihood we can go to 600 and pin it there. Okay, so keep in watch on this. It's bullish on weekly as well. 4 weeks of sideways, so we can continue to do that and form. Let's say, let me actually use a. We can continue to do this and form a small, closer pattern and then break higher. Okay, so keep an eye on Regeneron. Likelihood that we actually see a push towards 600 if 570 takes out. We see 600. 570 takes out. We see 580, and then we see 613. Okay. And this one I posted after a few minutes. URI. This is one of the plays I'm going to be taking on Monday, so I'll talk about those plays. If you look at this pattern on weekly, it's a rising wedge, but until we see a market fall off or something, we can continue to push higher. Okay, so unless we close below 110, I'm still bullish on this. Looks to me that we are heading towards this 200 moving average 129. So there is a good potential of making 10 points higher. Okay, so I'll talk about the trade ideas that I'm looking at. Look at this daily. The daily just broke out. Look at this rising wedge, and here we are on a weekly. We are having a falling wedge. Okay, so the rising wedge, we broke out on Friday. And this is heading, no doubt this is heading to 126, 129. Okay. All right. So we're done with watch list. Let's see what else we are to talk. Okay. So the focus for this week is going to be, main focus is Amazon, URI, Russell or IWM. I'll be taking a play on those because it's a laggard. So I'm expecting I'm expecting the Russell to catch up with SPY, SPX, and NASDAQ. CMG, the premiums are high, so we'll see if we can get something because it has potential to move to 1,000 this week. Regeneron is another one if it breaks. Arista Network, we're already in it. TDOC, we're going to keep an eye on this. Now I'm expecting a pullback to test the, was it 363? Is it 363? Yeah. Okay. Now, these are the trade ideas I'm going to be posting on Twitter today. This is something that we'll be looking into to take a position on Monday. So URI has 122 make calls. It has a possible move towards 126, 129. So these $2 can be like, $6 to $10. Amazon is another one, 2450 calls. Currently Amazon is at, if I'm not wrong, it's at $8. So I'm expecting a pullback. Sorry, I'm just trying to move this. Amazon 2450, right? Okay, so Amazon, I'm looking at, it's at $8, right? So I'm looking at Amazon, it's at $8. So we have a potential move to $15. So possibly $15, $20 we can make on Amazon. Okay, so I'm bullish on Amazon. So if we can get around $6, $7 or $5 on Monday just on a light pullback, I don't know if we're going to see that, but yeah, if we are lucky, we get something for $7 or $8, then this has moved towards the gap fill and then above. Okay, another play I'm looking at is Russell is expensive, so I'm looking at the ETF, which is IWM. Okay, so IWM is, look at this, it just broke out on a Doji. Look at this. This is Doji on Friday. Okay, sorry, on Thursday. This is a Doji candle on Thursday, maybe even more. Look at this. Okay, it broke out of it, gapped above. So 128.5, it never filled the gap. It's above that. It clears 133. It goes to 136 and 136.85. So 134 calls at $2 for Friday expiration. We have potential towards 136, 137, 141. Okay. If Russell catches up really, we can actually head towards that. So $2 can grow up to like $8, $9. Okay. We're already in SPY. We're already in Oyster Network. So manage those really well. Okay. So let's not over trade. Let's not do too many trades. But this is what we are looking at. Powell speaks on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, we can run and then, have a sideways action on Wednesday possibly. And then, push further into Thursday, Friday, or maybe we chop sideways Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then rip on Thursday, Friday. So those are the two possibilities you can see next week. There's a China-US trade deal, phase 1, which we'll hear about it in a week or two. So remember, Trump talked about it. If China doesn't stick to the deal, then he might, terminate the deal. All right. So futures are going to open in 15 minutes. I wanted to do about different sectors, but I think I'll do another session maybe some other time. All right. So let's open up for some questions. Okay, let's see. Use the chat box. Okay. When you get in, can talk about general guidelines to use moving average, period to use, for example, in what case. So I don't use exponential moving average. I just use the simple moving average. And, I use 10, 20, 50 because they are critical spots, critical junctions where, the price actually stalls or pullbacks. Like 50 moving average and 21 moving average are pretty important spots to me because I've seen that more often than not, price actually holds around 21 or around 50 or stalls or stalls around those points. So that's what I would use. 10 just gives you even more near term. Pinning action basically is based on the options, right? So let's take, the pinning action basically tells you that, the market makers, they want to make money, right? So they don't want to, let's take Regeneron. Okay. So Regeneron has potential to move, even though it has potential to move to 613. If you look at the, I don't think Regeneron has enough. If you look at the 600s of May 15, you'll see there is not much open interest. Okay, let's take Apple. Apple would be good. Actually, let's take SPY. So I'm going to take SPY. Let's take 300, not May 15. Okay, let's take 300 May 15, okay? For SPY. Look at the heavy volume that you got on Friday, 62,000. What is the total open interest? Total open interest is 92,000. If you look at here, the total open interest is 92,000 and 62,000 is the, volume, okay? So we should see an updated open interest on Monday, but the pinning action, what normally is, it can be, the amount of volume that you see, 62,000, you might have, 50% might be buyers or rest might be sellers or anything, right? So the the market managers market makers would like to make sure that, they don't let these 300 calls go in the money. So they would just try and kill those people who are holding the, SPY 300 or in general, any particular strike, okay? So that's what pinning action does. It basically try to kill the majority of buyers either on the put side or on the call side due to monthly OPEX and, so that they can collect those premiums. How do you project time to pick right expiration? So that's based on individual, Chris. I pick it based on risk reward. I pick it based on, how much time it's going to take for the stock to move. If there is a price range that stock moves, then, I pick the option price according to that. So let's take, for example, Netflix. Just an example, okay? So Netflix on a weekly, if you look at it, after this week of April 13th, it moved 413 to 447, lows and highs, which is $34. Next week, it moved almost 393 to 429, which is again 29 places, $36. Previous week, it moved $30. So if you look at this, it's moving $30 other than this particular week where it actually moved $80. Okay. So the next 3 weeks, all it did, it consolidated. It moved from the lows. It just moved like 33 to $40 range. Okay. So when you know it's taking that much time and the volume is not that high, so, like previous week is 31, before that is 42, that means the breakout is not real. So then, you choose options accordingly where, you're expecting a volume breakout based on news, upgrades, whatever it is, and see what volume, high open interest you have across time frames. Okay. So if you look at Netflix, 15th May, let's look at 450 calls. Look at the volume on Friday, 20,000. Okay. Open interest is only 3,987. So there's a likelihood market makers might not go to 450, above 450. There would likelihood that we would see below 450, or we'll pin around that. Okay. So if you're choosing a time frame, I would go with June or July. Just that's how I choose it. Okay. And then I look at delta, theta, volume, all of those things to see, and that's how I determine my option pricing and what's expiration to pick. Good one, Arpit. I forgot about tree. We took a position on it and forgot to mention that. Okay, so tree. Apologize for my charts because that's how I do it. I need to clean my charts. Hopefully I'll do it this week and clean it. Okay, so tree, bullish setup, testing the 200 MA, tested last week, inside weekly candle, okay, compared to previous week with heavy volume, lighter volume compared to. So when you see inside weeks, when you see pullbacks, you want to see it on a lighter volume, and that's what we got. We break 255 next week, say Monday, Tuesday, whenever, we would rush to 265. 265, we would go to 265 easily, okay? And notice 265 would be a tough spot to break. And I'll tell you why. Okay, let me show you that. So every time you want to break to 21 moving average, right? Look at this. So it came here, it broke, it couldn't hold on the back test, it went below. It came here, it broke, right? And it came back to back test, it broke below. So I'm expecting a similar pattern this week. We likely would test 265, break it, probably go to 276 if needed, go there, 276, 289. 276 is what I would see. If it goes to 276, then it would fall back and, break below. So it might not happen this week, but there's a potential if 265 breaks, 276 happens this week. So keep an eye on this. We already have a position in this. The key aspect is 255.50 needs to break Monday or Tuesday. We break this inside week candle Monday or Tuesday, this is heading higher to 265, at least 265. Okay. If you look at the daily, we broke this bullish pattern on daily. Okay. So if you look at daily, we broke this bullish pattern. Okay. We had a doji, then we had another indecision last Thursday, and then on Friday it gapped above, and all of it was light volume. So we need to break 251 and 255. 255 is a big spot. So that's why take profits at 251 and 255 and hold some. If it goes up, 265 is the next spot. That's it. It's straightforward. 255 takes you to 265. Okay. Can you discuss about BA? I talked about Tesla. I talked about Tree. Let me look into BA. So Boeing has been frustrating for all of us. We're still holding the calls lead. So this is what I'm looking at Boeing. It's holding this support area right now. Okay. to me, this is bullish, right? Because there's not been any negative news. Negative news has been a good digestion for Boeing. So this is a good pattern. My only concern is 151 because this 10 moving average is coming down strong. We need price to come and hit this spot few times. So expect this area to be a resistance area. Okay. Actually, let me tell you what is it. So this is the spot which is so this 150.8, 151, this is a strong resistance area, okay? So I expect a move towards 150 this week. Very possible we'll see 147, 150 test, okay? If this breaks, I don't think it will break in the first attempt. So probably test this couple of weeks, few more weeks, and then takes it out to flatten this. So Boeing, we can get another $14 to $17 move this week. Keep an eye on that. Go back to the video. We talked about Tesla. What do you mean when you say manage your trade? Okay. So good question. So when I say manage your trade, right? Okay. So there is an alert that's posted. Let's look. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at Apple Autos, right? For example, we got in at 60, 75 cents bid ask, okay? These are the target zones that's given. When I'm telling you that manage a trade, all I'm telling you is you lock your profits according to your comfort zone, okay? The target zones, this is not like it's going to surely happen, but these are basically exit points for you. When the price comes near it, you can take your profits, okay? That's why when I tweet that calls are about to go in the money, it's at 98 cents, up 50%. It basically tells you that, if you're comfortable to lock all of your profits, lock all of your profits at 98 cents. If you're comfortable locking partial profits, then lock partial profits. Nobody can tell you how much you need to take profits, okay? It depends on your position size. It depends on your account size. It depends on your risk appetite. It depends on a lot of factors, okay? Only you can manage your own account, overall trades. There will be trades where you won't make profits. There will be trades where, you'll make loss, where stops will get hit, okay? So that's why when I say that, manage your trades, basically you take your profits when you see it's, when I post tweets on, premiums are up this much, or, target zones are near, something like that, right? And then towards the end of the day on Friday, Apple ripped up on news of opening up the stores. So it went and gave you $1.55 and $1.95, right? So if you took partial profits here due to premium decay on Friday for same day expiration, then you would have taken the remaining on at 155 or 195. Or you could have just taken 50% and be happy with it, right? So managing a trade is really key to succeeding, okay? It's all about all small profits, they add up. Know this, okay? Same goes to work. We've been having this trade since, not this one, the older work, right? Work, we took a play last week, Thursday, 1.15, 1.2 bid ask. It hit the target zone, okay? If it didn't hit the target zone, the calls were still up, okay? And it hit to 2.3, okay? By the time it closed on Friday, the calls went below. So if you look on May 15th, look at, what is it, 31, 30. Okay, look at 30. It's 1.88 still. It went to highs of 235. It's closed at 1.88. So this has potential to move to $3, 3 or even 3.4. Okay. So when I say manage your trades, take your profits, fine tune your system, use the trading wiser rules that I've given you. Use that system to your advantage. Okay, that's important. You have to manage your trades because nobody, whether it's not about this service, any subscription service you go, nobody is going to, will be able to tell you when you can, how much you can log profits, or what's your risk profile, everything, without knowing about your account size and all of those things, right? So that's important that you move your stop up, manage your trade. So that's what I mean by managing a trade. Okay. Now imagine work goes down on Monday. Okay, and the premium goes down to 1.15. Now the question is, do you want to hold this according to your risk profile, or do you want to take the remaining position that you already have, partial position, which is left out positions after locking initial profits? Do you want to take them out? Okay, so that's what I mean by managing a trade. So do that. When you post trade alerts, can you also post charts analysis like what you're discussing so that we know the. So when I'm posting trade alerts, I'm posting exit zones and everything. Okay, I don't want to clutter the Twitter with posting too many things. That's why I leave it to trade alerts and news and updating the exits and everything. So that's why we have Discord chat, where in the Discord chat room you can use. I post the charts, I post the analysis. Okay, so and I do post the stops. The reason I don't post the stops when I enter the trade is because I want to see how far the trade can go. If the trade is already making a profit, then I don't want to post the stops then and there, because then I can change the stops to a different price. If the trade goes against us right away after a day or two, then I'll post the stop because I'm already aware of the stops, and that's why I'm not posting it right away. But that's something you want to keep an eye. How do you decide when it's better to trade IWM versus Russell? Well, I use Russell. The premiums are way high, so I look at the risk reward. So I was looking at Russell, for example. Okay, I was looking at Russell options for this week, and the premiums were really expensive. Look at this. So I'm expecting Russell to go to 1373 and 1396, and maybe gap fill at 1470. Okay, if you look at Russell 1350, it's $16 for the week. That's way expensive. Unless it goes to, even if it goes to 1376, those are just going to be $30. So those are just going to be, the risk reward is just double. Okay, and if you go further out down, you can take 1400, but then you're expecting 1396 and a gap fill at 1417. So 1400 is not a bad play, because considering that we're expecting Russell to go up 40 points from here for this week. So I might take a stab on that, but yeah, it's too risky. That's what I think. Okay, that's with Russell. IWM gives you a better risk reward. That's the reason we are choosing IWM, because as I posted, IWM, if you look at it, 134 calls at $2. So if it goes to 136, you break even, which is the least I'm expecting. And 136.85, which makes it 50% profit. Okay, so that's the least I'm expecting. With the Russell, you can break even only if you're buying 1350 at 14. At what is it? How much is Russell 1350? It's at $17. If you buy 1350 at $17, your break even has to be 1367. So that's a higher risk in terms of premium you're paying. So IWM is better with that way. Okay, so GH. Yes, I'll talk about Melly as well. Let's look at the futures once again. Okay, futures are down by 10 points, so I'm not concerned about that much. It should be fine. Yeah, futures, it's holding the support. Yeah, futures, this support area is key. So it needs to hold this, the support area, which is 2875, 2885, or 2882. So as long as it holds 2900, 2800, this is going to 2995, and that's when I think we should see a pullback or something. So yeah, so futures is fine. All right, so GH. GH is bullish. The setup looks really good. It's above 61.8. It's above 78.261, and it just stalled at 78.6 fib. Okay, it just stalled here. So expect a move back to 86 and hold here, and then bounce again to test 91. Okay, it breaks 91. It has a move towards 98. That's what I look at GH. So this is what I'm looking at GH. This is where we are heading. We are heading to 98. Okay, so early in the week, pull back to 85, 86, hold and go back to 91, 92. So if it comes to 85, 86, we can add, or even if it comes down to test the breakout spot at 83, 84, we can add and then go back to 91. And then when 91 breaks, we head higher. It's a bullish engulfing pattern with the volume from previous week. So to me, it's very strong. All we need is a back test of 84, 85 area and go back up. So GH, you're fine with GH. Melly selling puts on weekly basis to generate ideas on how to get about it. Okay. All right, Melly, I'm upset that I actually didn't take that play on earnings, but yeah. So I wouldn't chase Melly here. I'm looking at the daily. I'm expecting a, digestion. So probably pull back to 747, 750, or maybe even 733. If that happens, so that the moving averages, they can catch up. Right now, if you look at the daily moving average, they are way below. So I'm expecting a back test of 756. Okay, we did get the back test. Yep, but I'm still expecting another back test of 756. So I wouldn't chase here. The good way to trade Melly is, 633, right? So you can probably sell 630 puts for the weeklies. Let's take, let's see, what do we have? Yeah, so you can probably sell 700 puts. Okay, considering that if it doesn't go below 729, you can probably sell on Monday 700 puts. And what do you say? Wait, am I seeing this right? Oh yeah, correct, sorry. So you can probably sell the 700 puts on Monday and put spread. You can do 700 and probably 680, which would give you, sell the 700 and 680 put spread, which will give you $1.30. Okay, so you can sell those. Melly goes up, you can close it at 30 cents or 50 cents, or ride it for free till the end of week. So that's how I would trade it, because 729 is a support. So if that breaks, then we go for a gap fill at 634. Okay, so that's with Melly. I think, Ashok, you'll have to read through, use Google, right? I mean, look at, go do some research, look at Google, see why 21-day MA is so important. I talked about it earlier that, a lot of price actually stalls around that point. A lot of buyers actually take profits around that point, or a lot of sellers actually cover their shorts. So it's a pretty critical junction. It's a last 21 days of average of price. Okay, so research more on it. Will be more helpful. Volume breakout, just look at volume for previous high, previous day, or previous week or month, depending on your time frame. The volume I normally choose is, at least twice the volume. If that happens, then that's a clear breakout, and it confirms your breakout play. Okay. ROKU, you can you choose that as a lotto on Friday. What was it doing to make this a daily lotto? I don't know. Well, I chose Apple Lotto because remember I talked about, Apple holding out to 305, 304.5. If that breaks 310 comes, so that's why I chose that. And the risk reward was good. So nothing more. Because 307.5 at 70 cents to make $3, that's pretty good. That's 300%. That's risk reward is always important. Always calculate that. That's important. ROKU. Okay. So ROKU is fine. It ran before the earnings. It pulled back and it's testing the 50 moving average. So and it's also back testing this it's also back testing this breakout spot. Okay, it failed, came down. Now it's below this. Now watch for this area to hold. If we hold 200 moving average, 125 or 120, these are the spots. If we hold, then it's going to go back up. Okay, but for now, there are better place. That's what I would say with respect to ROKU. SK, how do you know if IV crush is going to come? Well, you need to study about theta, volume, premium decay, all of that. That's part of options. So the IV crush would happen because, if it is monthly OPEX or closer to expiration on Friday, etc. Do I buy 3 call? That's up to you. Okay, so we already bought the 3 call. We are, already up in it, if I'm not mistaken. So we hit 50% on 3 call options. So don't ask me if I should buy right now, right? I mean, the breakout happened. We bought the setup. We hit 50%. We took some profits out. Now it's at $5. It's pretty much, it's back to, our break-even price. So if it's, it depends on your account and everything. So we have already taken 50% off. So if you want, at least I've taken it. I've posted the premium hitting that. So if you decide to use there are people who are holding remaining position. So they might, break out. They might take the stop on Monday or they might just hold it. If you're going to buy right now, then you're paying a higher premium. Any suggestion for stop loss on premium? I wouldn't put stop loss on premium because it's difficult. When you do weekly, bi-weekly option expiration, the premiums fluctuate a lot. There are times it will go to 0 and it'll just come back up. Okay, work is one prime example. We had 3 weeks out work expiration for May. Those premium went from $2.40 that I had for 28 calls for May 15th went to $1.30. And then on last 2 days, it came and it hit $3.70. So I wouldn't suggest using stops on premium. Use it on the chart. Read the TW rules. I talked about, I explained about the rules, risk management on YouTube channel on the first video. Go watch that video. You'll see how to manage stop loss and how to take profits and manage your trades. The reason for that is risk reward, Vijay. The second thing is market conditions, right? Market taking 3-4 weeks out, you're going to pay a higher premium. So you're going to have higher risk. And due to market uncertainty, we are taking, closer 1 to 2 weeks out and good risk reward plays. Look at for support resistance lines, use the closing price of candles across and see how many times, if it touch for trend line, when you draw a trend lines, it's a basic rule that, you should see at least 3, points hitting that trend line. Okay. If 3 different candles hit those trend line on that particular time frame, that's a good support or resistance. Anything above that, it confirms that it's a stronger resistance or a stronger support. So use those. Can you not give the stop loss that you're taking usually on the trades? Can you not give the stop loss? I don't know that you're taking usually on the trades. I'm not sure what that question means. Can we have a session on how to understand charts, Doji, MAs, and well, guys, see, this is not a beginner's subscription or session, right? You need to go read about these things. I've posted about educational videos YouTube links. I posted videos on YouTube. This is the fourth webinar we have done. There is on the website, there's an educational section where you have books and YouTube links, which talks about candlestick patterns, which talks about, dojis and all of those things. So please read that. You need to spend time if you want to, treat this as a trading as your career in future and everything. This is a marathon. This is not an overnight success. So spend time and read about it. If you have questions, there are folks in Discord chat room. I mean, many of us can help, but this is not a place where we would, talk more in detail about it or teach from basics. Would it be possible providing the premium values for target zones so we can? No, it's not, because it depends on the expiration. It depends on, what do you say, when we reach that particular target zones. Okay, so premiums, guys, focus on the stocks. When we take a trade, focus on the stock support resistant values, stock price support resistant value. Don't focus on the premium. Okay, that's not the right way to trade it. And go look at the TradingWiser TW rules. I talked about if you are not comfortable on taking, if you want to have a stop loss, the best way that the system works for me and then many people, right? We're doing a weekly or bi-weekly options, and let's say you have a stop as 50%, okay, from the premium that you bought. So instead of buying, let's say you buy for $2,000, okay, and let's say you bought Apple SPY 295 calls on Friday for $2,000, and you have a stop as 50%. Okay, instead of buying for $2,000, go ahead and buy for $1,000 and let it go to zero by expiration, because in a weekly and bi-weekly expiration, the premiums fluctuate a lot, and it's really difficult to have a stop on it. It's kind of like impossible to have a stop on it because your stops are going to get hit. So if you're going to have a stop loss, you might as well just buy less. Okay, so that way you'll be away out of emotions and you'll trade objectively, and before entering the trade that I'm already buying less, I'm okay with letting it go to zero. So you go with that mindset and you trade it and you see how your trade improves. Try that, see how your game improves. Tell me after a month, after you do like 30-40 trades, see where your P&L is. Okay, futures are red. Yeah, I saw that it's 10-11 points. That's not a big deal. BKNG and CCL. I don't know why any airlines is up. BKNG to me is it's a bearish pattern to me. Million percentage R is also moving lower. MACD is about to cross lower, but let's see what is weekly. Yeah, weekly it's a bearish pattern to me. So but right now, if we close above 1465, 1470, I would say the best spot to go long is 1490. If you get 1490, 1490, yeah, 1490 is basically 1483, 1483. Let's see, yeah, 1484, 1440. Yeah, so I think if you close about 1484, 1484, it can go to 1495, 1530, and then move towards 1615. But looks to me this is a bearish pattern, so there's a potential move lower. Keep an eye on that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like BKNG right now, but yeah, I think if we hold 1380 or 1350, and then we have 1317. So these are the spots I would look at. So 1380, 1370, 1356, and 1317. If we hold 1356, it's good spot to go long. If we fail that, we head to 1317 and 1290. Sorry. Okay. Will we want providing premium value insurance? Yeah, I've talked about that. Use alerts, guys. You don't have to watch every tick when a stock moves. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Look at this. I have Apple. Look at my alerts. I have so many alerts set. okay, about 286, 285.80. So use alerts if you're using Think or Sim. It's very helpful. Or just keep a tab on the Twitter alerts that I post, right? When I'm posting a particular trade, for example, work, you have these target zones. Why don't you put alert near 30, 30.8, 30.9, 32, so that way you get an alert and then you can trade around that, okay? Spreads, a lot of people don't know how to buy or close a spread, so that's why I don't talk about spreads. Can you please check on BKNG? I talked about BKNG. Seems to be a favorite. Can you talk to me how you use it? Rest I'll read. Well, I use William percentage R because it's one of the better indicators. They move fast, and even though it's a lagging indicator, it's powerful and more precise compared to MACD, RSI, and all of that. To me, because price moves first, then your indicators, lagging indicators, they follow, right? But William percentage R, it's very accurate. So the moment it goes here, it's overbought, and I know it pulls back. For example, in Apple in this case, okay, on a weekly. But if I take a MACD, look at MACD here. MACD is not yet crossed. This MACD tells me that it's about to cross and go a lot higher, but it doesn't tell me there's going to be a pullback in the price. William percentage R here tells me there's going to be a slight pullback on the price to reset this overbought condition. When it comes down here, it'll then start moving back up again. So that's how I use. So it's a pretty powerful indicator. And what is the answer, Bob? Okay, guys, I think what's the time right now? There's 5 more minutes. I'll talk about whatever the last futures are not down much. I'm not worried about the futures much. I think it's heading higher. So futures are down only 6 points. So avoid that. Ignore that. Let's see. Yeah, I talked about spreads. What are your analysis on BABA, UVX, NLOC? Okay, let's look at BAB. I don't like Chinese stocks to be traded right now because of uncertainty, and the entire world is against the Chinese government. So, yeah, I would say. So sorry, guys. Let me just clean this. Okay. So BABA is holding this strong support, and yeah, BABA looks bullish to me. It's holding the strong support. It looks bullish to me on weekly. So there's a potential that we move higher. Yeah, but let's look at daily. Yeah, BABA is bullish to me. So the daily and weekly, they look good. So anything close about 203, it has room to 207. And about 207 goes to 212. So 203, 27, 212. Yeah, this confirms as well. It held this support. So there's a, yeah, I think BABA is bullish. So 207, 206, 207 comes. That'll be a stalling point, and then 212 comes. So that's what I would look at BABA. Earnings on 14th. AYX did pretty good. We were looking into it on Friday. So AYX is really bounced pretty hard on Friday. It's bullish engulfing on volume, twice the volume. So watch, I have this on my list, 132. If it clears that, this has room to 142, 150. So AYX, I like AYX. I like it. But I'm expecting a pullback. Look at this, William percentage tells me. So there's a possibility we see a pullback. Let's put an alert. 127.50. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So I'm putting an alert. This is a previous support. It comes here. We can bounce off it. But yeah, that's AYX. Can you please also give some stops when the stocks drop so we can exit and save on premium day? Basically, so yeah, I talked about stops, G's. Do you use any stock scanning tool? No, I don't use any stock scanning tool. These are lists that I built over the years. Is it safer to enter 3 on Monday? I talked about it. HDGS, HD and ZS are good. The YouTube link, Madhu, is on, I tweeted it a couple of days ago. Go through the Twitter, scroll down, you'll see the YouTube link. I posted yesterday a YouTube link. So click on that. You'll see all the videos on that particular YouTube. Subscribe to it. Can you run a detail regarding this projection and with recent changes? So, guys, I don't have any access to doing anything with respect to the Twitter text alert changes. I cannot post the alerts on Discord because, you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to log this Discord chat room only for members because some have shared the link to the Discord chat room. So it becomes unfair for non-members to be there and, you know, take our place. So I'm not going to do that until I fix and figure this out. Okay. TDOC is good. Yeah, TDOC is pretty good, but I wouldn't chase here. I mean, it's run up before the earnings. I don't like that. It's run up big before the earnings. Yeah, I wouldn't chase here. We can see a pullback or premium killing after the earnings. Thank you, Wanderer. Assuring person. Can you share your views on LMT target? All right, this is the last one. LMT target and CVX. Let's see. LMT. Lockheed Martin. Yeah, look at this sideways. Yeah. So this is. Yeah, this has been a sideways. There are better stocks to trade. I don't know. I mean, Lockheed LMT is fine. It's failed at 21 moving average, which is it. Look at it. It's failed last 3 weeks. It's failed at the same spot. So any break above 402.5 or below 365 is long or short. Keep it simple. Until then, yeah. I think if you look at the same sector, NOC is a better play. I mean, NOC is good for going long. Any break about 332 is a good long to 345 next week. Yeah. Even if you see Raytheon, which is all these are part of the same sector. So okay, let's see CVX. All right, so the last one, CVX, and then I'll call it off. CVX has already moved. It should stall around 98. Yep, 98, 99. And above that is 107. But below 98, 99 is going to be 95, 50, and move towards this area, which is 80, 89, 50. Okay. And the last one is Target. Target is bullish. It broke above. That's a strong doji and up. So 116 clears. We have 119. Above 119 is 126. Below is 111.60. Okay. All right. That's it, guys.